everybody. Welcome to another episode. I'm Mike Monticello.
I'm Mike Quincy.
And I'm Jennifer Stockberger.
So today, our main topic we're going to be talking about is the 2025 Subaru Forester Hybrid, our first impressions of this vehicle. Now, this is basically a Forester with Toyota-sourced hybrid hardware. But Subaru being Subaru, has to do it their own way a little bit, right? So they don't use Toyota's four-cylinder. They use their own 2.5-liter horizontally opposed four-cylinder, also known as a boxer engine. And it means that the cylinders basically, are horizontally opposed instead of inline like a regular four-cylinder. And besides the engine, they also a lot of small hybrids use an electric motor to power to make the car an all-wheel drive. But Subaru wanted to do their Subaru thing, which is still keep with their mechanical all-wheel drive, which should have a benefit in that it's going to be available all the time, not just in certain situations. So this is the first Subaru to receive this hybrid platform, this hybrid setup, I should say. Mm-hmm. And the next one will be the Crosstrek is supposed to be coming next, using this Toyota-sourced hardware, which should be a lot better than the Crosstrek hybrid that we tested a while ago, which had it had a really depleted cargo area because they just sort of kind of.
The packaging seems much better.
Yeah, and if correct me wrong, it cost more, and the fuel economy gains were minimal.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, but before we get into this, we're going to do a deep dive on the Forester Hybrid and how it drives compared to the regular Forester and compared to other hybrids. But Jen, just walk us back a little bit on. We've already tested the regular 2025 Forester, so just tell us some of the things that we really like and maybe don't like about the Forester.
Right. So the Forester redesign, if you will, which also this hybrid will benefit from, really kept the core virtues of what the Forester was. Great visibility, roomy cabin, comfortable ride, excellent fuel economy for its class, standard all-wheel drive, mechanical all-wheel drive, which everybody's come to appreciate. The redesign we said of the Forester was a bit of a evolution, not a revolution, which I think Forester loyalists will love. Again, you talked about the powertrain. People have come to expect that flat four from their Subarus, slightly more low-end torque, which made the drivability a little better, a little bit of more chunky, dramatic styling, fenders and grills that made it look a little more burly.
I think it actually kind of harks back to the original generations of the Forester, the boxy original Forester, remember? Yeah.
And the visibility, the boxy is what makes it.
Yeah.
Really, the most significant change, which we talked about extensively in the road test, was that it was a much quieter car. The Subaru Forester was always kind of this utilitarian car, and you lived with the noisy engine. You lived with the lack of fuel economy from the all-wheel drive system. It kind of changed the game in that it's now a quiet cabin. This is, again, the Forester, not the hybrid. We'll get to that. And the fuel economy got much better. So a couple things we did note that some of the safety features we like, the blind spot warning, the rear cross traffic warning, were not standard equipment, not available on the base, and they were optional on some of the trims. But that was where we kind of landed on the Forester itself.
There's only one major thing you left off.
What?
It's a Consumer Reports top pick.
Oh, and it is a top pick. And it's a perennial.
That was low hanging fruit. I'm sure Jen's going to remind everyone it's a top pick. I was sure.
And what do we say? The Forester's a great car. I'm probably repeating myself. Sorry for the camera. Great car for my 16-year-old driver. Great car for my small family. And as I've said many, many times, it is what my 88-year-old mother drives.
I swear your son's like 21 or 22.
It would be the perfect car for him if I chose.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you said you had a 16-year-old driver.
No, I mean me.
Oh.
Any 16-year-old driver and any 88-year-old driver.
So that's the regular Forester. Yeah. Now let's talk about the Forester Hybrid that we bought. Again, if people don't know, if we test a car, we buy it. And we buy them anonymously from area dealers. And then we did exactly that with this Forester Hybrid. We bought a 2025 Forester Hybrid Premium. So it has 194 horsepower, 2.5-liter four-cylinder hybrid with electronic continuously variable transmission. As we talked about, standard all-wheel drive, of course. Starts at $34,995. We got a few options, trailer hitch and harness, and some scuff protectors and rear bumper cover, all-weather floor mats with the destination fee of $1,420. total cost of our test car is $37,956. So since we're talking about pricing, Quince, let's talk about pricing, because there's some interesting stuff with the regular Forester versus the Forester Hybrid, right? Sure. As far as price differences.
Yeah, I mean the base Forester comes in just under $30,000, and when you talk about the hybrid model, it can cost anywhere from $1,700 to $3,000 more with comparable trims. Now you're thinking, well, that's more money, but you're actually getting more. So the hybrid, you're looking at the premium. It's funny because it's like the premium, but it's really kind of a lower trim. They call it premium, but it's on the lower scale of the Forester trim lines. So comparing premiums, the regular and the hybrid gets you the paddle shifters, the digital driver's instrument screen, hands-free power lift gate, upgraded infotainment system, extra sound deadening. But what's cool, the cargo space stays the same. The ground clearance stays the same. There's 14 more horsepower than the regular model, but the hybrid is about 300 pounds heavier, so it's kind of a wash, more or less. But the fuel tank is the same size. Again, you're not seeing these compromises that we often see with other hybrids. Right. So a really robust 581 mile cruising range, which for me is a great selling point. Yeah. But Jen, you'll especially like this. All Forester hybrids come standard with blind spot warning and rear cross traffic warning. Yeah. So it just seems like they took an SUV that did really well in our testing, and they found a way to make it better.
And I also just want to back up real quick on something I said. So I said that our car costs $34,995 as the starting price. That's because we bought our car before they increased the pricing. So just so we got lucky that we bought it when we did, but it's, the starting price now is $36,595. So just to be clear that the reason the pricing I quoted was what we paid for ours, but you'd be paying more now.
I think you bring up a good point, though, because the first thing I did when I went to, I must have been putting something in the back, but the first thing was the power lift gate as I walked up to drive this hybrid. And I said, I don't ever remember a power lift gate in a Subaru Forester.
And hands-free.
And hands-free. Yeah. I didn't know it at the time that it was a kick to open one. But it just brings up that be really careful when you're shopping for hybrids and doing price comparisons. Make sure, like you did, if you're looking at a premium non-hybrid and a premium hybrid, it is not just on the Forester, but many, many times hybrids bring with them more conveniences, more amenities, more safety, just by nature of being a hybrid. It's not just a fuel savings thing. And there often is better
And in
features.
Consumer Reports, we've been testing, when there's a regular version and a hybrid, we've been testing both of them for over 20 years. I mean, since the first,
I'm kidding. He looks at me like he's telling me this. I was totally unaware.
And we would often do a cost analysis. Yeah. If you buy the hybrid, you're going to be spending this much more money. You're going to be getting better fuel economy, but the break-even point might be 10 years, 15 years, or something like that. I remember getting lots of angry emails from people saying, "You dummies! It's not about saving money; it's about saving fuel. I just want to burn less gas. I want to be a greener consumer, and so it isn't about recouping the extra cost." And I get that.
And it's even more than that these days. I think you were about to maybe speak to it, Jen, which is that in general, and we'll get to how we feel about this one, but in general now, not so much back in the day, 10, 15 years ago maybe, but now the hybrid is typically the better model. It just drives better. So not only are you getting better fuel economy, yes, it costs more, but it's a better driving vehicle typically, especially with the powertrain. Since we're talking about fuel economy, let's talk about fuel economy, right? So, the regular Forester Premium EPA numbers are 26 miles per gallon city, 33 miles per gallon highway, or 29 mpg combined. The Forester Hybrid Premium rated by the EPA is 35 mpg city, 34 highway, and 35 combined. Jen, talk to us about that highway number, because that's kind of interesting, right? Like it's like, whoa, that's not really much better.
Right. Again, you really got to look at the split, not the overall, because, and again, it's not just for the Forester Hybrid, but hybrids in general. Where they excel is in city driving. So you'll see that jump from, in the city driving, where you only get that 1 mile per gallon in the highway driving. So if you're thinking you're buying a Forester Hybrid, because I have a 30-mile commute and I'm on the highway and I'm going to get this great advantage. Not the case. Right. So be very cautious. It's where we used to say, that's where diesels used to excel, was in the long highway driving.
It's funny, she keeps saying excel and we're talking about fuel economy.
Yeah. Oh, well. Get my embedded jokes, Quince. Come on. They're in there.
Get your testing straight.
And we got even a little bit less than that on the Forester in our testing. So just be aware that the advantage is in the city driving. So for someone who's doing around town or doesn't have a long commute, that's where the hybrid is going to be a benefit.
Right.
Not in the long trip.
So just looking at this, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the 581-mile range. I love that also. Yeah. That's so convenient when you just don't have to stop that often. Love that.
So really, just spec sheet wise, what are the downsides that you can see from the Forester Hybrid, Quince?
No spare tire.
Okay. And the regular one comes with a temporary spare. This one does not.
It's so funny because, tires are, as you know, they're pretty robust these days, and you don't see the blowouts and all the stuff like maybe we used to. And I don't really think, much about whether or not a vehicle comes with a spare tire or not. Apparently, according to super producer Dave Abrams, a whole bunch of Talking Cars audience members are really, no spare tire? It's important to them. And so when I was shooting the video with Andrew, I was like, this is a really good talking point. You lift up the under the cargo area and there's no spare tire there. Now, that is important to people. I mean, you can always buy like a steel rim or whatever and carry around a regular spare tire in your vehicle if you want to. But of course, you're adding all that extra weight and you might reduce your fuel economy. So yeah, one of the main differences, one of the things you're not getting with the hybrid is no spare tire. And we just mentioned about fuel economy, the hybrid getting about 35 miles per gallon overall. And Subaru kind of made a big deal about
combined, EPA combined.
Yes, combined.
Right.
So, yes. Subaru has always made a big deal about their off-roadability and their mechanical all-wheel drive system. Right. And that is in comparison, say, to the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid. The RAV4 Hybrid gets 39 miles per gallon combined, according to the EPA. Yep. So that if you're just looking at the strict fuel economy numbers, RAV4 Hybrid is actually better than the Subaru.
So that's one of the sort of potential downsides to the Forester Hybrid.
And that depends on maybe like how you drive. I mean, if you're going to be, living up in Vermont or something like that, you might want the arguably better all-wheel drive system of the Subaru compared
to snow or super muddy roads, whatever.
But if you're never just doing that and you're just driving it like a car, maybe you'll want the better fuel economy.
That mechanical all-wheel drive has always been a detriment for Subaru for fuel economy.
Right. And of course,
again, tried and true, it just works.
And of course, since we're testing this vehicle, we're gonna do our own fuel economy testing as we do with every vehicle we test. So we will have our own overall figure for this that we can compare to the RAV4 Hybrid as well as to the regular Forester. So
I think too, the spare tire conversation is directly related to the last time you got a flat.
Right.
So meaning someone is upset about it if they actually got one recently.
Oh my gosh.
I can't remember the last time I got a flat tire.
We're in new cars. That's part of why we're a bit not representative, because we are in new cars, but I have used cars in my family and we've had 2 flats, and to not have that spare and you're out there and now you're beholden to.
So it seems, I see what you're saying. So it seems fine now because the car is brand new and the tires are brand new. But talk to us 10 or 15 years down the road when you only have a tire sealant kit. Right. And
but it's the way they got the packaging. You talked about it. The Crosstrek, it stole so much. The battery stole so much cargo. Right. This one didn't steal any, but you don't get a spare.
Yeah, what Jen's always said, like when she talks tires, there's always compromises. You're going to get something, you got to give something up. And seriously,
in this case, the hybrid.
In this case, you have to give something up with the hybrid version of the Forester.
Yep.
Okay, so let's talk about giving up or not giving up, and let's talk about the biggest change, which is the powertrain, right? Yep. So Jen, let's start with you. Let's talk about what is it like to drive this Forester Hybrid versus the regular Forester that we've already tested. I
think it took what the redesign already did, which was better, and just iterated on it a little bit more. This car is, I talked about quiet, it's a little bit quieter. This car, the redesign was a little bit peppier, low end torque. This one is a little bit more powerful. I think it has 14 horsepower advantage over the regular. It's got a little bit more get up and go than the original. And the range, I just think it just made a pleasurable car even more pleasurable. And it's still so Forester. Like there's nothing
Forestery?
Forestery. And if you had a
can't say
Forester and no one's going to say, oh, this is nothing like my old Forester, because you just feel so comfortable with all the advantages of access and visibility. It just made it a better car overall.
So if you had a Forester in your household and you went out and bought a Ford Ranger, you could be a Forester Ranger.
Oh
my
boy.
gosh.
Oh,
delete.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to get canceled. We're going to get canceled real quick.
Yeah. See what we have to live with, people?
To me, honestly, the biggest benefit, besides the fuel economy, that we know it's going to get better fuel economy. We don't know exactly how much better, according to our testing, but we know it's going to get better fuel economy than the regular one. The biggest benefit of being a hybrid is that initial EV shove off the line. Right. If anyone who's driven a pretty recent Forester, Outback, Impreza, Crosstrek, one of the biggest annoyances with those cars is a super abrupt throttle off the line. And now manufacturers often do that when the car doesn't have a lot of power. Guess what? Most of these Subarus don't have a lot of power, right? So they make this really abrupt throttle. So it makes the buyer feel like they have more power, but they really don't. And it's just annoying to you have to drive around it. This does away with that because there's this initial shove of electric power, depending on how hard you are on the accelerator pedal. For the first 5 or 10 miles per hour, you're under electric power and you don't have that jumpiness and it gets rid of it. But what is the one thing, this is a gotcha question potentially for you too. What is the one thing that the Forester Hybrid doesn't do that the regular Forester does that is a benefit powertrain wise?
This is
regen? No, it wouldn't. The regular Forester does.
The regular Forester.
Oh, so that would be backwards.
Simulated upshifts.
That you like from the CVT.
From the CVT. This does not do that, which is not a shock because it's a Toyota sourced system. They don't do the simulated upshifts. For instance, Honda with their 2-motor hybrid system does do the simulated upshifts. And what it means is, so I'm honestly torn on this powertrain because on the one hand, it is a little bit quieter overall, but when you're accelerating moderately or hard, it's just going to hold the revs really high, whereas the regular Forester will keep bringing those revs back down. And so that is a little bit of a negative with this hybrid.
Yeah, except you're not, if you're just cruising down the highway, you're not, it's not constantly yelling at you.
Right.
I mean, it's just during the initial acceleration.
Yeah, which could be anytime.
Right.
Anytime you have to accelerate. I mean, you don't only just accelerate once a drive, do you?
No,
or maybe, I don't know. Maybe you drive differently than I do.
He's a coaster.
I need a coaster under my cup. I was just thinking about the time that I spent with the Forester Hybrid and the hours that I drove, a lot of it on the highway, and I agree with your assessment, but it's not something that kept coming up over and over and over and over.
I would agree. I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
It was quiet enough that I didn't miss it, even if revs were higher.
Yeah.
So
okay. These things mean something to me.
No, but I think that's interesting because the things, different aspects of every vehicle stands out to all of us in different ways.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's like, reflecting on like everything Jen said, I agree 100%. But to me, what's so amazing about Subaru is the Forester was already really quiet. And now this hybrid is even quieter, which is kind of good and it's bad. It's bad because any kind of ancillary noise the regular Forester had, you would hear a little bit more with the first Forester Hybrid because it's that much quieter. So it's like, well, that little noise there, it was probably there all along. We just never noticed it.
And just to clarify, the Forester was quiet with this redesign. Okay.
Well, it wasn't a noisy vehicle at all.
It's still a loud vehicle, relatively speaking. It's quieter than it was, but there's still a fair amount of road noise. It's still a fairly this is nowhere near luxury car levels, but but now it's competitive within the class.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think there's a lot of small SUVs that are that much quieter.
Right. But I'm saying before it was uncompetitive noise wise. Now it's competitive, and one of the benefits to the hybrid is that you can cruise along at certain times. You could be cruising along, say, on a country road at like 30, 35 miles an hour under electric power. That is possible if you're just very gentle on the gas pedal, if you're in a zone, where it's only 25, 30 miles an hour. So that is a benefit that the regular model obviously can't do.
I mean, the Forester Hybrid is so quiet. I mean, if a tree falls near the Forester, you're going to hear it.
Okay.
Oh, he's on a roll.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Okay.
I'm just trying to branch out my humor.
Oh man.
Mike, talk.
Quince,
Please
let's
talk.
Quince, let's talk. Let's talk about the car.
Yeah.
So talk to me about ride and handling. Any difference? Should people, like you said, it's an extra 300 pounds or so, right?
And I think in that respect, the extra weight has helped this car.
Yeah.
As we've seen with a lot of hybrids or even plug-in hybrids, the extra weight helps to make the car quieter. It improves the ride. It makes the handling feel more hunkered down, maybe giving the steering a little bit meatier feel to it. And because it was always, you go back to the old wisdom of racing with Graham Chapman and Lotus. He's always saying, you need to add lightness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Colin Chapman.
Colin Chapman. Sorry. And it's like, in this case, the extra weight has made the vehicle better, and it seems so contrary to automotive design. But in this case, I mean, this is honestly the best Forester I've ever driven.
Yep.
And we've driven probably every generation from day one, and this one is I always thought the Forester was pretty boring. It was a pretty benign SUV.
Well, I said it was utilitarian.
Right. The steering was vague, the handling was okay.
Yep.
There was nothing that made it special. This hybrid version is, to me, really, really special.
Well, and the nice thing is that from looking at the logbook notes so far, most people are agreeing, first of all, with your assessment that it rides just as well, if not better than the regular one, but it also doesn't really lose anything in the handling department. It handles very, very similarly, at least as far as out on the road. We'll find out what it actually does in the avoidance maneuver, if there's any difference there, and out on the track when we do our track handling. But so far, people are saying this feels pretty much like the regular one, that's a real testament, right, to what they did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's hard to think you could make a top pick better.
Yeah. Well, the expectation will be, again, going back to a Toyota hybrid system, super reliable, a Subaru all-wheel drive system, venerable, super reliable. They kept the reliable pieces and only or sourced the reliable pieces for this iteration. It shouldn't be any risk in terms of reliability.
Yeah, they sourced it to a super reliable company,
Correct.
right? So now some of these things really aren't changed much at all, but let's just touch on them real quick, like front and rear seat comfort. As far as I can see, it's pretty much the same, but do we like it? Do we not like it? What's our feeling on the Forester in terms of front and rear seat comfort, Jen?
They've always been a little firmer, but I think they're very Forester-like. I think they're maybe a little better in this, little better, again, in the redesign in general, and you cannot beat access for this car.
Yeah.
You cannot beat access for people.
In terms of how it is to get in and out of the car.
Get in and out. You just slide in. You cannot beat the load. There's no sill in the loading area. There's no lift. It's just everything's at hip height.
Yeah.
Your body's at hip height. Your loading's at hip height. It's just its stature is nearly perfect, and the seats are good for me.
Yeah.
Contoured just enough. But sometimes people say long trip, a little firm.
And that's why we have a lot of bodies get in and out because, and both for impressions as well as for rating them, right? Because every seat, suits a person differently. So Quince, do you like the seats? Are they okay? Do you love them or not like them?
I don't think I loved the seats, but I liked them.
Okay.
And I liked the fact that this kind of a lower tier trim gets you some lumbar. Which was nice. But I mean, I think I probably would have liked it more if we had the touring or the limited trim. Those seats are probably, they just have more adjustments. And
more adjustments. So leather sometimes makes them better.
Yeah.
Which our car does not have, but
Correct.
Yeah.
So I was okay with seats. What about you?
Yeah, no, I like the seats. They suited me really well. They have pretty nice shape to them. They hold you in place pretty well, so I have really no issues there. And the rear seat is really roomy. It seems like there's no difference between this rear seat and the regular model, which is fantastic.
Yep.
Just lots of space back there, pretty comfy. Good under leg support. The only thing is the seat back can recline. It can't recline very far.
Right.
And the way you recline it it's a little like there's a strap that you use to do it. It's a little awkward, but again, if that's the worst thing about the car, then no big deal. I don't love the driving position. It's unchanged from the regular Forester. Positives. lots of headroom. I mean, a ton of headroom.
The boxy shape.
And as far as center console intrusion, everyone has their pet peeves. This is one of my hangups. I think everyone knows that, right? I hate when my right knee is
Mike's got
hemmed
a fat
in.
knee.
Yeah,
Fat right knee.
no, it's whatever the knee version of a cankle. That's what I have, right? Just my right knee. It's a very oddly shaped body.
A lot of miles on these knees too. Trust me.
But they cut out the center console there, so there's room for your knee, and it's not really padded, but there's a little layer of vinyl or something.
But that's a positive aspect of the drive.
No, these are the positives. These are the positives. The negatives, armrests are on different planes. Again, this is another hang up for me. So you're left, the center one's lower. So you're left a kilter, as I call it. I don't know if that's a phrase.
I don't want to see him wearing a kilter.
The center one is super under padded. Yeah. And the one on the door, just like the regular model, has this weird, almost uncomfortable rubbery-like material. So it's just neither one is really that comfortable for you. It's not even that it's sticky. It's that it's just a little bit abrasive.
Yeah.
Maybe the touring or the limited would have more padding.
Maybe.
There you go.
I don't know. But that's basically it. So there are, I would say, definitely sit in this car.
Yes.
Make sure that it's going to have lots of room, but does it fully suit you comfort-wise as far as the actual driving position? Quinn, so let's turn to you. Any changes in fit and finish? I know that this is not a model that's known to have a super high-quality cabin because it is a mainstream small SUV. Is it pretty much identical to the regular model?
Pretty much a wash. Nothing real fancy, nothing that's going to dazzle anyone. Very functional, very utilitarian, very sturdy.
Right.
But again, it's not a high trim, so.
And same controls?
Yeah, I think I was just going to say, I think they lean into the utilitarian with the all-weather mats, the cargo tray, things that you actually appreciate.
It's not fancy.
And controls, there's nothing that, again, I go back, we talk so much about controls and poor ones. There's nothing to annoy or alienate or say, I can't use that. Huge selections in that screen for old people like me.
It has the new digital driver information.
Right.
Yeah.
To
bring up the menus, because you can change what you're looking at when you're driving, whether you want fuel economy or whatever. And super smart Maddie McCarty said, "Oh yeah, you can't just hit the scroll. You have to hold the button down to change the menu options," which I was completely lost on. So thanks to Maddie for doing that.
One of the issues we've had with the infotainment screen is that it's just a little slow to boot up, and the reason why that could annoy you is because really the only climate functions you can do that are physical controls are temperature. So you can't do anything else until the system fully boots up. So you start pressing things and nothing's happening because it's still, and again, it's usually only on that first startup of the day. After that, it's typically fine. If you go run an errand and get back out, then it seems to be fine. But there is that.
But if we're going to touch on the infotainment system,
let's do it. You're not going to make another weird Forester joke, are you?
No. I'm going to issue some criticism to Subaru because this infotainment system it seems like it's 10 years behind the times. We had a nav system with the premium Forester, and it is slow, it is laggy, and even when I don't
this booting up thing
in regular operation,
you're pressing and things take a little while to happen.
If you're using it to actually punch in a destination or something like that, the voice commands are, again, 10 years behind the times. I don't really use a lot of built-in nav systems because I'm always going to
use it?
I just use CarPlay.
I do too.
But even with Android Auto, which is what I use, it's still a slow processor. Okay. And
I think it's good that you test the actual regular one as well to see, because there are people that are going to still. I know people that still use the built-in navigation system rather than their phone, and I think, why would you do that? But if that's what they're comfortable with,
it's good to have a backup. Again, driving through the hills and mountains of Vermont, you lose cell coverage, and so when you have a built-in system, it's good. It's good to have that, because that'll still at least tell you where you are. So probably my one criticism of the Forester Hybrid is their software is a little bit ancient.
Okay.
In these software systems too, just to add on to your point, Mike, the days of start the car, put it in reverse, and go are kind of, you have to give it a minute to boot up, because I do like to set climate, and I do like to pair before I leave in the driveway, which is safer. So
It's like us
Yeah.
being old, getting up there in years. It takes us a little
gotta
bit to get
boot up.
going in the morning, you know? So same thing. So let's talk about,
Yeah.
I'm going to pose a question to you guys. Basically, if you were in the market, if someone was in the market for a small SUV, would you choose the Forester Hybrid? Would you over the regular Forester, and or what would you choose? Would you choose the Forester Hybrid or some other small SUV hybrid? And Jen, I'm going to start with you. And I have written down that it says why would anyone buy anything other than a Kia Sorento or a Ford Flex? Is that true? That's what I have written down? That's what you would say?
Exactly. But again, you're such a brat. If the reasons I like the Kia Sorento, the Ford Flex, but go back.
Yeah.
They're boxy.
Yeah.
They have good visibility.
Yep.
They are quiet, smooth powertrains.
I'm seeing a pattern
The
here.
reason we like, so with all that said, I would absolutely buy this Forester Hybrid.
And just to your point of, I don't know if we can touch on it enough. The visibility score on the Forester is like one of the best. Absolutely. Right. When you get, and I drove it yesterday again, and the ability to see out of the vehicle so easily, unlike most SUVs, is just awesome. And it's a safety feature in a sense, right? Because it helps you see cars, pedestrians, cyclists, right? So I'm sorry, but I did cut you off.
No, we talk about direct vision, what you can actually see with your eyes versus supplied or indirect vision, which is cameras, sensors, et cetera. Direct vision's always better. Right. And so, yes, I would totally buy this car. I have a short commute. I would take total advantage of the city driving benefit from the fuel economy. And I heart the 581 mile range. Just not going to the pumps. I would totally buy this car. Totally buy this car. After I get a Sorento and a used Ford Flex. But sure.
All right, Quince, talk to us. What about you? You usually have an interesting answer. So I'm counting on another Quincelicious, interesting answer.
I guess what this Forester Hybrid proves in Consumer Reports testing is when we test the regular model and the hybrid model,
again,
the hybrid model is like always better. I mean, always.
Yep.
And there are a lot of good small SUVs out there. I mean, you can make an argument for the CR-V Hybrid, except the seats are terrible. The Tucson Hybrid is very stylish. Same thing with the Mazda CX-50 Hybrid, and the Toyota RAV4 Hybrid is simply like a reliability and fuel economy king. That being said, I'm totally sold on the Forester Hybrid. I would buy this vehicle. I would hopefully have enough money to get like the limited trim, which is like one step up from our premium. It does so many things well. It suits my life. I don't need 3-row seating. I like fuel economy. I like a good ride. I like cabin comfort. I like simple controls. This just ticks all the boxes for me, and I can't. It's the best one in the category. And yourself?
I'd probably go with a Honda CR-V Hybrid, and I just prefer the way it drives a little bit. I think again, I prefer its 2-motor hybrid system with the simulated upshifts. That does mean a lot to me. As well as I think it handles a little bit better. So that's the one I would go with. But again, it's kind of a toss-up. And the bright side is there's so many good choices out there. Right? There are really,
that's the thing.
There's a plethora of choices.
No, but it's like all the models that I just rattled off. There is no loser among them.
Right.
100% right. Okay,
great place to be for a consumer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take your pick.
Yeah.
No, that's it. I mean, consumer choice. Wow, they're all really good.
Yep.
So we have a first drive already up on cr.org on the 2025 Subaru Forester Hybrid. And of course, it's going to be tested soon. So it'll be going through the program. And then as soon as we have those results, we'll write up a nice, big, long online road test for you folks to check out.
And check out that really stylish video on YouTube.
With you in it?
That you did?
Oh, I don't know. Somebody. I don't know.
Okay.
Self-promotion.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the audience questions segment of the show. And remember, if you have a question for us, a comment, 30-second video clip, send those to cr.org/talkingcars. And remember, if you submit a question and we use it on the show, we will give you some CR swag That is true, right? Or do we just say that, or have we actually given some out? Okay, producers Dave says we have given some swag out, so that is great. I'm telling you,
we need to double check these things.
I'm going to send in a question one of these days because I could use some CR swag. Like I don't even have a CR shirt. Okay, and Jen, how do you feel about the video questions?
I love them.
Oh, I thought you love them.
Oh, I
once
love
quoted
them.
you on a show. I said, Jen says,
we love
you love the video questions.
I do.
So
I love to see people.
Exactly. We love to see their background, their creativity, and they always have something interesting to tell us or to ask us. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Send in those video questions. We love to see them. So the first question today, if I can get this machine to work correctly, comes from Tom. Tom says, first, my wife and I very much enjoy your YouTube videos on vehicles. My wife always likes to see Jen. Jen who? Like Jennifer Lopez?
Jenny from the block.
Jennifer Lawrence?
My gosh.
Who's he talking about?
She's got a fan.
Aniston.
She's got
Jennifer
a fan club.
Aniston.
Whatever.
No one likes the mics, but everyone loves the Jens.
No one,
Too many
okay.
mics.
Anyway, so Tom says, besides liking to see Jen, he says, keep up the good work. As the prices of used vehicles continue to climb, or at least don't depreciate much, the vehicles seem to be getting overly and undesirably techy. And he says, my opinion, and I'm a retired IT guy, I wonder if I should be locking in a backup car such as a mid-2010s Lexus IS or GS or other reliable car. Could such a purchase put some future-proof transportation in my household goods portfolio? Jen, I'm going to start with you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
What's your answer for Tom? Is this a smart idea or maybe not the best idea?
So first of all, shout out to your wife, Tom. Hi, Tom's wife. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So
Monty just
anyway, when you think of why Tom and many others, ourselves included sometimes, think of techie as being a negative, it's because it is a safety risk. It gets a bit distracting. It takes...
You mean the controls?
The controls.
Yeah.
And a lot of tech can be distracting. You can't do quickly what you want to be able to do, particularly when you're driving. So with that said, I don't feel, Tom, in this case, that a lack of tech is actually future-proofing. I think there's too much safety benefits on the other side with accident avoidance features, crash controls, so many things that help on the safety side that I think it's not a good balance.
And crash structure as well, right? Those are always being improved. Correct. So the chances are better that you're going to do better in a crash in a brand new car versus one that's 10, 15 years old. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement.
Okay.
And I think we've gotten to the point where we're getting that we have to learn a little bit. It's not just going to be operable with hard buttons. However, we've also mentioned on the show, we see some of the manufacturers tracking back on some of that, some of the more commonly used controls going back to hard buttons. The other thing I will mention here that yes, techie can be glitchy. We certainly see it all the time here, but it also can often be fixed with over-the-air updates. So in this case, no, I would get a more current model with better safety. That's the better future proofing.
And look for one with that has controls on the simpler end. Maybe.
Correct.
Is that okay?
Right.
And Quince, are you kind of on that same page, or are you going in another direction? I don't know what that was. I have no idea.
I like the fact that we have a Talking Cars viewer that likes the Lexus IS and GS. Monty and I were talking about this the other day. I was like, these are really great rear-wheel drive platforms that were fantastic to drive.
That's a different reason, Tom.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's besides the point.
Right.
And while I do have some affection for these cars, I'm a big Android Auto fan, and a lot of the older cars, this software is not supported. So that's one thing. The second thing, and I'm going to kind of make my own argument in my own head. He brought up the Lexus GS. The 2015 GS is actually one of the most reliable used cars in Consumer Reports survey. It is a recommended used car. The downside of the 2015 model is blind spot warning was not standard, so you would have to hunt and pick through the classified ads to find one so equipped equipped, but that would be reliable. But I'm kind of with you. I wouldn't go too low tech.
Yeah.
Because things can still break.
Yep.
Even though you if you're sticking with Lexus in general, a used Lexus is a really good
good bet.
a good choice. I would probably look at a Lexus ES just for better fuel efficiency.
Yep.
Well,
but
and to your point, like we were talking about how we both really enjoyed driving that GS because, first of all, the 2000 teens era, if that's a thing, GS just had really nice look to it. It looked pretty sporty, drove moderately sporty, but was fairly luxurious. But there's a real issue with that 2000 teens era GS, which is it was actually maybe worse than what they have now. Remember, it had that remote touch controller.
The little mouse paddy
if he were to get that would annoy him more than a brand new version, right? So it was a mouse pad that was really hard to control. The icon was going all over the place. And so this is a case where going back in time actually made things worse. It might be worse than what it was before.
Right. Either from a usability standpoint or maybe even from a reliability standpoint.
As well, for sure.
How long would this hardware or software be supported?
And we've heard many times of going back for a rear-wheel drive manual that was all about how it handled and how it drove. Different question.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. But in inspired choice, a used IS and GS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're thinking maybe go newer rather.
Yeah.
Maybe this is not the best idea.
If avoiding tech is the reason, that would not be my choice.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Let's move on to Michael from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. And guess what? Michael we were talking about a video question.
Michael.
Here comes a video question. Let's take a look.
I have a question with regards to fuel types. And although fuel slightly less right now, it has been in the past, but it is always a contentious topic, and anytime we could save a little bit of money is great. It's with regards to the Lexus RX 350 Hybrid. According to Consumer Reports, it mentions higher octane of 91 is required, so premium. However, after looking at a copy of the manual, it does say that 87 octane is allowed. So although 91 is recommended, 87 can be used. I believe it's different on the regular RX, but for the hybrid, it appears to be allowed. Can you guys comment on that?
So the testing protocol here at Consumer Reports is that whether the vehicle requires or premium is recommended, we're going to test it on premium.
Right.
And Jen, talk us through why we do that.
Yeah. And I think the answer is different for us as a testing organization versus what the consumer may choose. For us, when we are trying to keep things as controlled and really, honestly, trying to give every vehicle its best foot forward, when we are rating things like acceleration, like power delivery,
Fuel economy
that may be relative to the type of fuel selected, we go with the protocol you said. Recommended or required, we will use the premium fuel. Thankfully, to Michael's point, the consumer has a little bit of a different choice. And Mike, I think you talked about, we had done some testing of different fuel types and the effects on the performance. And for the consumer, they can do it a little bit differently.
It is a frequently asked question.
Oh yes, all the time.
Is my car going to perform better if I use premium? And the real operative word here is whether it's required.
Right.
If it's required, absolutely put it in. Yep. It's how the engine was designed. It's what the manufacturer wants. Yeah. And if you think you're going to save money by not putting in premium when it's required, well, the cost of an engine rebuild is a lot more than just putting in premium fuel. Right. That being said, if it doesn't require premium, don't put it in. But we thought, well, what if we took just a regular vehicle that only required regular gas, ran a whole bunch of tanks of premium through, let's do our acceleration tests, let's do our fuel economy tests, and we found that the results were almost not measurable.
Right.
So again, you will save money by not putting premium fuel in your vehicle if it doesn't require it.
Right.
Yeah, and
absolutely.
Honestly, we've said many times, the engine technologies are so advanced, they're learning they're learning what the right, firing sequences and all of that
it will
is.
adjust for the different
adapt.
octane. It will adjust for the different octane.
But for us, imagine we said, even, you said not measurable, 1/10 of a second difference in acceleration time, or 2/10 of a second that was slower than a minute. They would say, can't you just see the manufacturers knocking on our door saying, well, you didn't use the recommended fuel. Right.
And
so it's a little different.
And you're driving your car every day. Just kind of take a listen. If you think you hear some knocking or something like that. I mean, you might want to get your engine checked, but your engine might run better on premium. But I definitely wouldn't pay extra for it if I didn't need it.
And it's a lot extra. It's a hit in your pocketbook every day.
It's amazing how often this question comes up. It's kind of like the spare tire thing. We don't think anything of it, but it really does mean a lot to our audience.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when it comes to making a buying decision, let's say you've always wanted a BMW 3 Series. I mean, why not? It's a nice driving car. Yeah. And maybe it's going to be your retirement gift to yourself or something like that.
Sounds nice.
You have to go in, but you have to go into that decision with your eyes wide open, because that requires premium fuel.
I think it would be a deal breaker for me.
Really.
And I can see that. It's like, oh my God, I don't want to buy premium every time. So I'm going to look at something else.
Yeah. So I think what you're saying is in your buying process, make sure you understand whether premium is required or recommended.
Correct.
Because if it's required, you're going to have to. You could potentially void the warranty, and the engine's not going to perform properly if you don't put that in. But if it's recommended, you don't have to. And so that's definitely something to think about, and how much more that's going to cost down the road.
And the more we talk about this, just adding fuel to the fire.
And with that said,
I'm running out of octane.
Okay. One of us is getting fired after the show. Maybe all three. All right. On that note, that's going to do it for this episode. If you want to learn more about the topics and the vehicles that we talked about, you can click on the links in the show notes. Don't forget to send those questions, comments, and videos to cr.org/talkingcars. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.